let's get right into it. Okay, so hello again everyone. Hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. Today, we have a special video for you. So if you guys enjoyed our previous short horror stories, then this is going to be no different. Of course, it is also another listener-submitted story. And this one happens to come from a listener over in England. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So of course, to protect the anonymity of our storyteller, let's just call her Amelia. So Amelia was a young filmmaker from London and she loved exploring old legends and haunted places for her YouTube channel. One day she heard about a mysterious forest in Oxfordshire called Wychwood Forest. The villagers nearby spoke of a dark figure called the Watcher, a tall, faceless being that appears in the trees and chooses one person to haunt. People said once the Watcher sees you, it never stops watching. The chosen person slowly loses their mind and one day they disappear. Now, Amelia didn't believe in ghosts, so she thought it would be a fun idea to spend a couple of nights near the forest to try and prove that the story was just a myth. Now, before we continue with the story, we want to give a huge thank you to a friend. Because without his help, this video would not be possible. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. And now, let's get back to the story. So, Amelia decided to go to the village near Wychwood Forest to try and gather some more information. While there, she interviewed a few of the villagers, but most were afraid to speak of the legend and refused to do anything. But one old woman named Margaret agreed to talk with Amelia. According to Margaret, 50 years ago, her younger sister had gone missing in Wychwood Forest after seeing the Watcher in the trees. At first, the Watcher only appeared in her dreams, always standing still between the trees, never moving or making a sound. Then one day, the Watcher appeared while she was awake, always keeping to the tree line, still never making a sound. Then one morning her sister walked into the woods and never came back out. Margaret's voice shook as she warned Amelia, "If you go in there, don't look too long." The Watcher chooses those who look back, but Amelia didn't believe in ghosts and shrugged off Margaret's warning, deciding to go camping by herself on the edge of Wychwood Forest that very night. As the sun went down, Amelia set up her tent and turned on her camera to record the night. She sat outside the tent to try and capture any footage of the Watcher, but nothing happened. After a while, she went inside her tent to sleep, but in the morning, she noticed large footprints around her tent that didn't appear the evening before. Now at first, she thought it was a prank from some local teenagers, but when she checked the prints, they were hers. She did not make these footprints. Shaking it off, she packed up her things and went back home. That night though, she couldn't sleep, kept having nightmares of the faceless man from her footage, standing over her as she slept. And the next day, she went back to the forest, determined to stay again, despite Margaret's warning. And as night fell, she once again set up her tent and waited. About an hour into her vigil, she heard what sounded like whispers coming from the woods behind her. Though when she turned around to look, there was nothing there. And when she turned back around, she saw a tall shadow standing far off in the woods. Not moving, she stared for a moment, but when she blinked, the figure was gone. She searched the area where the figure had been standing, but found nothing. Just when she was about to give up, she spotted something lying on the ground. Brushing the dirt off, she realized it was a diary. Now, hoping to find some answers, she opened the diary, which turned out to belong to Margaret's sister. And as she read through the entries, she realized that the sister was writing about the same Watcher that Amelia had heard the villagers talking about. And the last entry read, "He doesn't blink, he doesn't breathe. He waits for me to sleep." Amelia felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that she was staying in the exact same spot as the writer of the diary. Suddenly, she heard footsteps outside her tent. Though when she turned on her flashlight, she could see nothing, then she heard a knock on her tent. Startled, she screamed and hid under her blanket until morning. In the morning, she found a new set of photos on her phone that she swore she did not take. The photos showed her sleeping in her tent, and in one of them, The Watcher was standing right next to her tent. Now terrified, she tried to leave the village, but every road seemed to lead her back to the forest. It was as if the forest was keeping her there. Thinking quickly, she turned around and drove back to London, but that night she woke up in her London apartment to the sound of scratching at her window. Looking out, she could see nothing but trees surrounding her house. Then she heard a knock at the door. The next morning, she drove back to the village to speak with Margaret, but the old woman had passed away in her sleep. Now, desperate to escape Wychwood Forest, she drove as fast as she could to get out of the area. And finally, miles away from the forest, she stopped and slept. When she woke up, the first thing she did was check her phone and found another new set of photos. This time the photos were of her sleeping in her bed, and the Watcher was standing in her bedroom. Then, a few days later, she went back to Wychwood Forest with a group of friends to try and find the Watcher. She led her friends to the clearing where she had camped and to the tree where she found the diary. But when they searched the area, they could find nothing. And when they turned to leave, they noticed something carved into the bark of the tree. It read, "You looked back." Weeks later, search parties went into Wychwood Forest to try and find Amelia, but they found no trace of her. The only thing they found was her tent, which had appeared on the side of a road in Suffolk, over 80 miles away from the forest. Some believe that Amelia was taken by the Watcher, while others believe that she simply left the forest and moved away to start a new life. But many still wonder if she's wandering the forest to this day, searching for a way out. And if you ever find yourself in Wychwood Forest, beware of the Watcher in the trees. If he chooses you, you may never be seen again. So how about you guys? What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments below. And also while you're down there, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more scary stories. But as always, thank you for listening to our podcast. Join us next time for another terrifying story. Until then, stay safe. Bye.